Hi, everybody. This is Frank Data Lorenzo on LinkedIn Live, our Quick Launch Live weekly event, 8 a.m. every Thursday to talk about all things data and just answer any questions and share our knowledge and help you learn a little bit more about best practices when it comes to your data driven journey. So, last week we spoke about, before I jump into all that, I'm sorry, I get excited. Um, if you're here live with us, please type in the chat, type a one. We know you're here live. If you do watch this after the fact, go ahead and type a two so we can respond to you later. Morning, Jill. Morning, Ben. Morning, mysterious LinkedIn user. It's good to have you all with us. And you know what? Add some fun to the chat. Tell us a bit about your role. Where are you watching from? United States? What state? Have you gone on any summer vacations? Anything you'd like to share? And of course, your questions around data. Okay. So last week we spoke about the importance of a data model, why you'd like to create and operate your corporate data from a well-governed data model, which is what we're going to talk about a bit today. Hey Ben, a well-governed data model. What does that mean? And security. Why is that important? And again, keep in mind these are 15 minutes. We just scratched the surface on topics, hopefully to give you some food for thought. If you would like to explore anything or dive deeper, reach out anytime. We're happy to do it. Joe from Houston, love Houston. Go Astros. All right. So when we talk about data governance security, what are we talking about? Well, and by the way, folks, if you see my head looking, I'm not losing my attention. I have a couple of screens with data, so bear with me if you see me looking left or right. What is security and data governance? Well, really, data governance is the ability for an organization to help provide for and protect their high quality data throughout the life cycle of that data. Includes data integrity, of course, data security, data availability, and consistency of good quality data. You think about it, as I've said before, business today moves at the speed of light. We collect more information than we ever have before, and our systems have gotten better and better at collecting data. So, how do we manage it, get our arms around it, govern it, and make good quality decisions to run our business? We have another LinkedIn user from Houston, was in DC. All right, awesome. Okay, so why is the three questions we're going to address? What is security and governance defined? Just touched on that. Why are security and data governance important? Well, data is probably one of the most, there's a million stats you can Google out there on this. Data is one of the most valuable corporate assets we have. And we make important, impactful decisions on that data every day, all the time. So, for example, how healthy is our cash flow? Or, how are we doing if you're in construction on a particular project? Or how is our manufacturing site going? It's data that helps drive and give you insight into that decision. It's really the foundation of your business to make decisions on the fly. And what does it take to set up security and governance? Well, first and foremost, we need a plan. What might that plan entail? What are the spokes, if you will, on the wheel on this hub for governance and security? So why don't we just take a look? I did a visual, try and help explain this a little bit further. The LinkedIn Live challenge of sharing a screen. Here we go. We'll do it together. Share screen. Step one. And okay. Step two. Almost there, folks. My apologies. Okay. You should see it coming up in 3, 2, now. Perfect. Okay. So let's talk for a moment about what the components of good data governance and security really looks like. And there's a lot of definitions and a lot of pieces, but we kind of pulled out some of the main talking points to kind of help guide our short, high level discussion today. So, first one, business process management. So, what do we mean by that? Well, your business process, if you think about it in terms of data and capturing data, a good business process might be, for example, I cannot set up a contract in a system until I have the contract amount. and it's been validated. What does our data collection, data entry, and data approval process look like? Who validates that that data is accurate? With all the technology and everything we have, the old adage I learned, I don't even want to say how far back, that'll date me, but garbage in, garbage out, that still applies. So what is your business process, your business rules, if you will, for uh, managing your data collection and ensuring better quality of data? Your business policies, who's allowed to enter the data? What is the policy around how we're going to manage um, who's collecting the data? Is it in the field? Is it in the warehouse? How do we get that data collected? And then what is our company's business policy and how that's going to be managed throughout the process? So, kind of in line with business process management, your rules and then your procedures on how you want to process your data. Data security. Now, this is a big one, obviously. And one thing I like to point out here, think about this for a moment, folks. And I had this discussion with a client recently. They were a contractor and they had Viewpoint Vista as their ERP. They also had Procore, which is a project management solution, and they had B2W, an estimating solution, Salesforce CRM solution. So there's no way around that they have multiple logins, security on the front end to get into those systems. But managing the security around the data, once it's all collected and reported upon, it presents a real challenge because I've got data in dissimilar databases and formats living in different places. How do I layer a security policy across all of that? So data security can be a challenge. Now let's circle back to what we talked about last week. You have a strong data model, you can apply security on one governed set of data. Little bit simpler. The quality of the data. Now, this is kind of a self-fulfilling thing that I see. Is that all the people that have said to us, we don't want to start looking at any business intelligence till we clean up our data. Which comes first? What we're finding is when you start looking at your data through the lens of business intelligence and visualizations, hint for next week, by the way, when you're looking at that data, you now see where you need to clean data. And when you start leveraging and utilizing your data better, it really ups your game on wanting to improve that quality. So the data quality kind of goes part and parcel with how we're reporting on and visualizing our data. And then same like business policies. What are our data policies? So security, who can access data policies? What are our policies around how we're going to format and provide that access to our team members? So who can see what would be security and then defined by our data policies. So what are our company policies around data risk management? Now, when you hear risk management, the first thing that comes to my mind, and there's several definitions of this, but the first thing that I think of with risk management is we're at risk of hurting our businesses by making poor decisions off that data. So, risk can mean a lot of different things. It could be a risk of being cyber hacked, risk of data being stolen. Think about this. If you export data to Excel, that's really a silo of your data in that spreadsheet. Now, it can go anywhere. It can be downloaded, it can be emailed. Um, so it means a lot of things. But I think a big one is we are making that speed of light decision on our data. There's a risk we're making poor or ill-informed decisions that adversely affect our business. So, mitigate that risk management. And then regulatory compliance, things like the GDPR for Europe, for example, they're real big on, and we're getting this here as well, but how you protect contact data, for example, social security numbers, things like that. So adhering to any government, federal regulatory compliance, that's certainly a piece of this as well. So there are other areas, and we can talk about governance. It could be a whole day, and happy to, by the way, if anybody wants to. And remember, feel free to put something in the chat if you'd like, question or so forth. But we felt these kind of covered a broad, base of the wheel, as I mentioned, and really these all lead to, when addressed properly, given some thought and planning, again, planning, strong data governance. Now, when you look at the different ways you can handle reporting on your data, let's take a peek. So I put it this way: what would you prefer to govern? So this is a pretty typical scenario. What I set up here was, general ledger, sales, inventory, purchasing, any other. We custom write reports, or we create custom singular data sets. So this might be a data set for a report I've written for Power BI, another Power BI report, Excel. And so in the Excels could be manual extracts. Maybe that's how I'm handling it in inventory, for example. So now I've got data living in different places, and I've got many different data sets to secure and govern. And I could have, I say, over 40, could be over 100. So it's doable. This is what a lot of folks do today, but it's hard to get your arms around, and it's a challenge that can suck up a lot of IT's time. Now, this is where I think you're maturing on your data journey, if you will, where you now have one data model, in this case, data set. This is a Power BI premium data set represented by our magic blue cube. But now I have one per module. So I've streamlined this quite a bit, but I still have many different data sets to govern, manage, secure, and basically look after. Or as we continue down this maturity chain, we create, now you still have your data. Let me just back up for a minute. You still have your data in all the different systems, and you're collecting data in those systems, and you want to improve the data quality and accuracy through your data policies that we talked about. But at the end of the day, if we create one data set, if you will, the magic blue cube, where all of your reporting data has been transformed and put in your corporate library, if you will, now I can secure and govern this much easier than the other options you see with ABC. So that's just a few words on that. And let me see if I can stop sharing. Okay, I think I can. So folks, that's a very high level kind of review of what governance is and some of the components of data governance and security. But we really hope that helps get your mind thinking about it a little more. Certainly, we are more than happy to discuss this further. So let's summarize. Talked about data model last week, right? Now we've got that data model. How do we govern and secure it? We talked about 7 kind of spokes on that hub that go around data governance. So what would be next? Well, next week, I'm kind of excited about this, introduce the topic of data visualizations. A lot of us used to writing reports, rows, columns. We've done that in Excel, we've done it in Crystal. How do you create a visual? When is a pie chart better than a waterfall and vice versa? And the beautiful thing with Microsoft's Power BI is there are a ton of visuals. There's a marketplace where you could go get other visuals, things that you may not have thought of. I found some things, and that's really pretty cool. What a world we live in. So that's what we'll start on next week, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you there. Again, this will be on demand on LinkedIn, so if you watch it post live, please put a 2 in the chat so I can say a fond thank you and answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, we are at 8:13. I don't see any questions in the chat today, so that's either really, really good, or I'm going to go with the really good. Everybody, make it a great day. Enjoy your 2 minutes back. I am Frank Data Lorenzo with Preferred Strategies. I always pick the wrong side. Absolutely love what we do because we are all about the data. Take care. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.